Pet Peeves, brought to you by Desha
and Jessa. My first pet peeve is people who don't like unicorns.
How exist?
Could you not like unicorns?
They're the most amazing thing. Who doesn't like unicorns?
They fart Skittles and rainbows.
Totally.
They leap through the air, and they have beautiful manes and
fly,
tails.
and they have glitter.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Okay.
That's my first pet peeve.
One of mine is birth mothers who insist that other birth mothers are doing it wrong, no matter what it is. Their grieving process, their choosing process, their coping mechanisms, their blogging choices, whatever. Who are you to say that somebody else is experiencing something incorrectly?
Everybody is different. Everybody has their own process, and everybody thinks and feels in different ways.
Yes, so allow them to feel like you were allowed.
Exactly. Okay, my next one is birth mothers who think that adoption should revolve around them, aka co-parenting. I hate this, okay? I do not think that if you choose to place, you should co-parent. You shouldn't co-parent. You shouldn't be showing up at the couple's house every single day. You shouldn't be commenting on their parenting techniques. You shouldn't, at least not to their face.
Right.
You shouldn't insist that the child call you mom or dad.
No.
And you shouldn't insist that they call you biological mom or dad either, in my opinion. I mean, I guess that's up to everybody.
But relinquishment is exactly that. When you relinquish, you are relinquishing.
Right. And adoption is about the adoptee, not about the adoptive couple, not about the birth mom or the birth dad. It's all about the adoptee.
Exactly. So one of my most biggest, personal, closest to my heart pet peeves is adoptive couples who do not keep their promises.
That is lame.
There's nothing worse in this world than that. And a good friend of mine once said that there is a special place in hell for adoptive couples that don't keep their promises, and I absolutely concur and agree.
It's true. I mean, you can't just pretend, oh yeah, we're going to be best friends and you're going to come over every single month. And then as soon as you get the baby, be like, oh, just kidding. We don't really care.
Well, sometimes it's not even that.
Even just
storybook, like when you commit to doing something, even on the most simplistic level, you damn well better follow through or readdress what you've committed to and make a new commitment.
Don't commit to something you're not going to do. I tell couples, it's a common thing that is said with goals, but I say it all the time for openness, is plan for the moon, plan for the stars instead. So plan for the stars instead, then if you can make it to the moon, that's awesome. So it's in reverse. So start with what your most minimal thing is, and then build up to it if you can.
You can always give more, but you can't ever take back. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're taking back, you are in the wrong.
Exactly. Another thing I have is the wrong attitude about openness with adoptive couples.
Yes, a lot of them feel like they're doing a birth mom a favor by maintaining openness.
Yeah.
A lot of them feel like it's a chore.
Yeah, it's not a chore. You have a baby. You're welcome. Pop that thing out by myself. So if I ask for a letter once a year and you offer that, then you better
do it.
Deliver, because I delivered, literally.
Yeah, and if you think that as an adoptive mom that your mom or your best friend or your sister wants to hear about how that baby is doing, guess who wants to hear about it 1,000 times more? The woman that gave birth to that baby. Yeah. So it should be a pride and joy type of thing for you to share with her what that child is doing and learning and accomplishing. It's not something to hide from her. You're not going to make her feel bad. You don't have to worry about telling her too much. It should be a gift and should bring you excitement and peace, and it reinforces the love that you have for your child to share those things with the birth mom. The best way to honor the love that you have for your child is to honor that child's birth parents. And if you don't honor those birth parents, you're just teaching your child that you don't love that child and that you don't love where that child came from. No matter how else you think it's going to come across, that is how it is going to come across, and that child is going to resent you later when they're an adult, when they figure out all the promises that you made and broke and all of the crappy things that you did to their birth parents.
Exactly.
So make
if
your choices
anybody
wisely.
should be pulling back, it should be the birth mom when if she needs it. You shouldn't pull back because you need it. Sorry.
Yep.
Your favorite one?
My favorite one. Anything to do with in any regard and connection with LDS Family Services is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Some people had a good experience with them, but
maybe
overall,
we hear on the wind that there's like one or two people that exist on this planet that had a positive experience with them in one way or another. But
I think their
kind
heart,
of like unicorns, we're still waiting for one to show up.
Their heart was in the right place when they started.
But if you can't do it right, don't do it at all.
Don't do it. Just don't. The counseling's terrible.
What counseling?
Oh, exactly. I show up to my counselor, who was maybe 21, and she had never been married, never lived away from home, just barely graduated college, and she was telling me that how to cope with placing a baby. Like, there's something that, that she just could not give to me. You have to have a counselor with experience working with girls who just place their babies for adoption. This isn't like, I understand it was free to us, but we paid emotionally and physically.
Free, we didn't pay anything, we didn't get anything.
Right, exactly.
Which kind of leads to our next pet peeve.
It does. And you can, do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Agencies not being honest with birth mothers about their standing as a client.
Birth moms are not the client.
They're not the client in the agency's eyes. The adoptive couples,
the person
is
who
where the
pays
money comes
the
from.
fee is the client. And so if you're a birth mom and you haven't paid your adoption agency anything, guess what? Your best
client.
interest is not their priority
They
because you're
don't
not the client. And which is fine because that's the way it works if the birth mom is aware of this from the very beginning, which most of the time she's not. So just be honest. Just be upfront. Be like, this is how this works. This is how the services are. This is who our client is. If we go to court, this is how it gets represented. Blah, blah, blah. So some honesty would be nice.
Yeah. Birth mom on birth mom anger and bullying.
Like, I can't believe that we even have to talk about this being a pet peeve, but it's such a prevalent problem in our circle and in our world. Not
every birth mom I've met is my favorite person in the world.
For sure.
But
I know lots of you hate me, and I'm okay with that.
It's okay, Desha.
I'm the one who's fabulous and awesome. So.
But my problem comes when I get comments on my blog from other birth moms or on my Facebook or anything that I do. Everybody's just so mean to me. Like, come on. Be nice.
Be nice. Yeah, out of anyone who should be, like, sticking up for other people, it should be birth moms. Like, we should have each other's backs. We shouldn't be out there trying to tear each other down. And that's a big part of, like, why our blog even started, because there was no support out there for birth moms on the interwebs. And we were able to find each other and tried to start a good network. And our biggest enemy has always been other birth moms.
Which is surprising.
And the amount of cruel things that they come up with to say, like, I delete all those comments. They don't even make it to the blog. You guys would be shocked at the things that birth moms have to say about other birth moms.
Never have I seen so many creative cuss words.
Yeah, like the vile and the filth and the hate and the angst is...
And it's personal.
Hard to imagine, but
it's not even, like, just mean. It's personal. Like, they, will say your name. They will say... You are awful.
Yeah. And most of the time, they have no idea who we even are. So
that's okay.
Yeah.
Screw them.
Exactly. They lost. So another pet peeve is birth moms who make the rest of us look like crazy crack whores.
That's from Michelle Masterson, by the way.
Yes. Yes, there are a few birth moms out there who make very poor decisions and are very emotionally, mentally unstable, and therefore their behavior is erratic and very detrimental. And unfortunately, we all are correlated with guilt by association. So, yes, there are some out there that make the rest of us look bad, and that's an unfortunate one. And oftentimes there's not anything we can do about it, but sometimes there's something we can do about it, and it's to help guide those people to the help and services that they need, so that they can find their happiness and their
and
stability.
It's up to you to not make us look crazy. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If you're a birth mom, don't be showing up on the couple's doorstep at 2 a.m.
Don't do
demanding the
drive-bys.
baby. Yeah.
Don't Facebook stalk.
Don't be a creeper.
Exactly. Be cool. Keep it cool.
I mean, if you Facebook stalk, just don't get caught at least. Like,
yeah, like if you're gonna
come on.
If you're gonna Google Earth their house, like do it in a way that they don't
know. What about this one's a big one for you? Oh wait, okay.
For me? No, for you.
Just kidding. This one's a big one for me. We're reading a list, obviously.
Yeah.
So couples putting forth a fake facade on their profiles. Don't tell me that you read the scriptures 10 times a day and that you never have yelled at your husband before. One, if that's true, bullshit. Then you are psycho and I wouldn't place my baby with you anyways. And number two, like...
Real life.
Just be real. Be like, some days my hair is in a ponytail, I smell like nasty, and I don't get my workout on. I put perfume on. No. But, I mean, just, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Keep your profiles real. Alright, so one of my big pet peeves is infertility being correlated with adoption. When actually infertility is its own thing and adoption is its own thing, and you absolutely can have one without the other. I really hate that you cannot have a sentence involving infertility without adoption being mentioned, and no one can mention adoption without somebody jumping in about their infertility. Please stop. Two separate things. Let's keep them two separate things. And I really hate trying to go to adoption support places or birth mother support, and it's this onslaught of infertility. Like, no, go carve your own space.
Right.
We need our space.
It's okay to have, infertility, and it's okay to grieve through infertility, but don't make it a part of adoption. Adoption is not a solution for infertility.
Nope. Never has been, never will be. Two different things.
I'll let you talk about the next one because you're, doing all the doctor learning.
All the doctor learning things. Infertility versus sterility. Again, two very separate things. If you're sterile, you are therefore infertile. But if you are infertile, it doesn't necessarily mean you're sterile. And if in a partnership one of you is sterile, it doesn't make the other one of you infertile. It would be really nice to see some differentiation in this regard, especially since we all get thrown into this big pool of adoption and infertility together, which I've already discussed. Let's keep the infertility pools clear cut as well, because there are so many different types of infertility and there are so many different causes, and it's best to know what you're talking about in reference to infertility. It's best to be able to reach out and help support each other when you know what kind of infertility you're talking about. Is it because of a metabolic disorder? Is it because of pathology? Is it because you had to have certain reproductive organs removed for other reasons? Is it because of a sterility issue? Like, let's own what our shortcomings are in this regard, and let's be honest about it, and let's not lump them all in together. And
let your spouse own their infertility or sterility, and if you don't have it, be like, I could totally get knocked up. It's my spouse's fault.
Exactly. No, we totally get that. Oftentimes one person in a relationship has a reason that as a couple you cannot reproduce, and that's fine. And I see lots of couples who consider both of themselves to be whatever that one detriment the other one has. And that's great in a partnership to front something together, but I feel like for conversation's sake, and if you're going to bring that conversation and education, and if you're going to bring that conversation into the adoption world, then be real. Be real. Exactly.
What about adoption language? Everybody's favorite thing to talk about. Mine. I know I am one to talk about this a lot. But my problem is when it's in media. It really bothers me when the newspapers or the news or Teen Mom, oh my gosh, when they talk about it in a derogatory way. They use gave up, not because that's the only way they know how to explain it most of the time, but because they kind of like to have that negative feel. It's a reaction. I don't like that. If you're using gave up because you choose to, or because that's the way you know and that's the only thing you know, then that's fine. I'm not offended by it. But I probably will correct you in a nice way usually, unless you're saying it to be mean. Then I'm not so nice.
Yes, my issue with adoption language is when I see people who don't know any better and are trying to express in a genuine, sincere way, and they use what the adoption world has deemed negative adoption language, and you see all these birth moms and adoptive couples jump down that poor person's throat, like, whoa, 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 there's no better way to make an enemy. You need to accept that sincerity, you need to accept where they're coming from, you need to accept their level of understanding, and if appropriate, you can correct them as to what
or at least explain why you choose to use the other form.
Right.
Explain kindly why you choose to use the other form.
Right. So, yeah.
Couples who aren't honest with their children. This was the first thing that I talked to the couple that I placed with about in our face-to-face. I said, are you going to let her know from day one that she's adopted? They said, well, yeah. But surprisingly, I guess more in the older generation, it wasn't popular to let your kids know that they were adopted from day one. I have an uncle who didn't find out till he was 42. And that's crazy. Like, come on. I mean, you have to teach your kid where they're from. You
gotta be real.
It's better for them to know from day one and have it be normal than have an earth-shattering moment where they find out that they are not your biological child.
Right, because that just is going to break whatever trust they had in you for their entire lifetime. And why would you intentionally set up your child to not trust you? Just start using those words when they're a baby and they don't even understand what adoption means or birth mom. But if you use the words, they become familiar, and as they grow older, they start to understand what those really actually mean. And the trust is preserved, and the love is secure, and they don't have to sit there and doubt everything you've ever told them, because lo and behold, you're not my mom.
Oh, man. And I promise that if you're in an open relationship and you're teaching your children where they came from, your children are not going to love and respect you any less because you're not their biological parents. They will still love you and respect you like you're their biological parents because you've been the one who's raised them.
Exactly. So kind of a pet peeve of ours is that in regards to adoptees and their records being sealed, absolutely we feel like that is an injustice, and that is changing slowly but surely. It needs to change a lot faster.
And now.
And yesterday. Adoptees need to be able to know their information and their records, and the excuse of knowing it for health and medical reasons is actually a really lame excuse. They need to know because
for emotional reasons.
They're human, and we need to know that. And they're an emotional being, they're a physical being. It's nice to know who you look like and where you came from. And absolutely, we talked about in another vlog that emotions and memories are passed down from mother to child. That whole deja vu thing is often very real. And it's nice to have an understanding of knowing why you think and feel the way you think and feel about a lot of things, because somebody else in your biological genetic line thought and felt those things.
Absolutely. I actually had a friend, he's older, I think he's maybe 27 now, but when he was, I believe, 25, he's adopted, and he didn't know anything about his birth mother. But he was going through some old files in his family attic, and he pulled out his birth mom's information sheet from the attic.
Oh,
And he
wow.
called me, and he was so excited just to know some of the hobbies she was in. Like, he doesn't know her name. He doesn't know what she looks like still. But just knowing what hobbies she was into, what she wanted to do with her life, was like this huge,
it
thing
made her
for
a
him.
real person.
Yeah.
Because she is a real person.
It's not some fantasized, like, I don't really know anything. It's just reality for them.
Right. So one thing that we've gotten very used to over the years, should we say it together?
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
And we don't care.
We don't care. You can bring us your hate, and we're just going to unicorn file it right away. There's nothing you can say or do that is going to get under our skin anymore.
Usually.
Her more than me. I never really had a huge problem with that. But
okay, I had a really thin skin.
I helped you grow.
She did. She helped me to give people the middle finger and back up off.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
It sucks that haters are going to hate, but pick a topic and there's going to be an internet troll and haters are going to hate. So our advice to the rest of you, just let them hate. Don't take it personally. Let it go.
Don't fight back with them because it doesn't do anything.
Don't
I learned that the hard way too.
Don't reply. Don't think that your bottom of your heart expression of your experience is going to change their mind, because it's not. And guess what? It's only going to hurt you when you give them more information for them to fight back at you in a horrible, nasty way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And birth mama drama.
Birth mama drama.
Drama.
Yeah. One of our biggest pet peeves is birth moms who insist that they are going to be miserable for the rest of their lives.
And hate everybody who thinks that adoption could be beautiful or wonderful or an okay thing.
Well, guess what? It can be beautiful and wonderful and even just an okay thing. And it's okay if you choose to be miserable. We all know that misery loves company.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? We're not going there, and neither are most of the people that associate with us. Yeah. Because
not all birth moms are going to be drug addicts.
Yeah.
Not all adoptees are going to hate their birth moms.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep your birth mama drama to yourself, and if you're struggling with a friend who is a birth mama drama, it's okay to kind of keep them on the outskirts of your circle. And if you're an adoptive,
hide from
if you're an adoptive couple that is struggling with birth mama drama, then I would
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. We have our sincerest sympathies. You can find a way to create a safe space, but yeah, misery loves company. So when that drama comes your way, don't feed into it, and just kind of let them move on to the next target to see if that person will be miserable with them.
Amen. I'm gonna keep drinking my Kool-Aid.
Why not? It's delicious.
Kool-Aid.
I like the red flavor the best.
Yeah. So stop doing all these pet peeves.
Yeah, because we don't like having late night chats where we have to talk about all these pet peeves that we see on Facebook and the blogging
My
world.
Google chats is blowing up.
Yeah. I have doctor things and projects and reports and case studies and
we don't
patients
have time
to follow up,
gossip
and I don't have time to gossip
about
about all this stuff. So lay off.
Well, that's our last installment of the Desha Jessa vlog of pet peeves. Sayonara.
Bye-bye.